After the Taliban took control of Afghanistan in August 2021, people at risk of persecution began to flee. 2 weeks later, the last evacuation plane departed. Thousands of Afghans in need of protection from Taliban reprisals were left behind. Arif, a former intelligence officer, is one of them. After receiving Taliban death threats, he decided to join a group of people like Hadi and others who paid a smuggler to take them across the border with Iran. At night, they climbed over a border wall and started walking into the Iranian desert. Iranian security forces ordered them to stop and began to shoot. Arif and others managed to escape, but Hadi was injured.
A bullet went into my left calf and came out the other side. I ran for 5 or 10 steps and I fell down unconscious for 3 hours. I woke up in an Iranian detention center.
The next day, Iranian security forces forcibly returned Hadi and other Afghans to Afghanistan. Meanwhile, Arif and others in the group continued their journey towards Turkey. After 2 weeks, they reached the border, but when they jumped over a border fence, Turkish security forces opened fire on them.
They were shooting like if they were in a war. I saw a woman and 2 young children injured. I was very scared. I'm amazed I survived.
Arif returned to Iran and made it into Turkey a few days later. While walking through the mountains, Turkish security forces arrested him and other Afghans traveling with him.
The Turkish security forces asked why we left our country. We said that we were at risk there. They replied, "It is not our business. We will kill you here."
Arif and others in the group could not apply for asylum. Instead, Turkish security forces beat them.
They beat me with a rifle on my vest. I fainted. They beat others with sticks. Even when they were unconscious, they beat children as they beat their parents.
Turkish security forces drove Arif and the group to the Iranian border. They took their bags, clothes, and phones and burned them. They ordered them to cross into Iran and shot in the air. Back in Iran, Iranian security forces arrested the group and took them to a detention center, where guards repeatedly beat Arif and other detainees before forcibly returning them to Afghanistan. Arif and others in the group could not apply for asylum in Iran. Following his ordeal, Arif is back to square one, trapped in Afghanistan and at risk of being arrested by the Taliban. The Turkish and Iranian governments must end the unlawful transfer of Afghans to Iran and Afghanistan and end the unlawful use of firearms against them. Governments hosting Afghans must resume arranging the safe passage of Afghans at risk of persecution.